Well, we're joined again by Rob. The fans have asked some questions.
They have.
Hopefully your answer.
I even screened them all. There's a few that I've been seeing coming through in the last couple of days that shouldn't be on for airing. Definitely not.
We'll start with favourite moment at the club.
I think there's several. Obviously the FA Cup runs were fantastic. St Albans here, obviously the Barrow game, Billericay away when we were right up against it. And then I think you've got to look at Basingstoke away when we were half an hour from the National League. I think that was great moments.
Do you have one in particular?
I think they sort of all morph into one.
Okay.
I'm going to fudge it. I'll sit on that fence.
Worst moment at the club?
Any loss.
Yeah.
Any loss. I think possibly the Billericay loss was horrible. Yeah, that was a bad one. That was a down one. That was a bad one. Yeah.
Favourite part about being at Taunton?
I think the fact it's a real community club, and when in my early days when I was managing at Bridgewater Reserves, I came across Bobby Gould a few times, and the biggest piece of advice he ever gave me was choose your chairman, choose your board well. And we have got a great chairman, we've got a great board. Alan's fantastic, Brian, Dom, everybody, and that's it. It is a real community thing. We've got some great volunteers, so that would be the big one for me.
Is there any news on Dan Sullivan?
Sully is here this afternoon, and we are 5:14 on Friday afternoon, and Dan Sullivan will sign this afternoon. Yeah.
What about Nick Grimes? Is he staying for the season?
So Grimesy, he's had a bit of interest from some league clubs that they want to have a look at him and get him in for pre-season, and similar to Matty Buse, and he goes absolutely with our blessing. And it'd be listen, if anybody deserves it, it's him. He's a great age. He's a super player, great lad, lovely family, and hopefully he will get something. If he doesn't, then I'm going to drag him back here, and we'll hopefully see him at the start of the season. It didn't work out for him.
How stressful is the recruitment process?
Incredibly. It takes weeks and weeks and weeks sometimes. Sometimes you think you've got somebody, then you haven't, and then all of a sudden you haven't got somebody, and then they come through. So it is quite stressful, to be fair. Especially this year we've been targeting specific players for specific roles. We want to be more dynamic. We wanted to bring the average age down a little bit this year. So we're evolving us aside again, sort of thing.
Favourite player you've worked out with at Taunton?
Crikey, there's quite a few. There's a lot. There is quite a lot, actually. It's been great. We've had some great players in the last, coming up 5 years next March for me. I'll come back though, and I'll sit on the fence for a minute. Thank you, Kev. That's lovely. Good timing that, Kev, because I had to get out of a question.
Water break.
Water break.
How important is the link between the club and Team B2C?
Very, very important. I think you can see in the last 2 years, 3 years that we've been here, that we've tried to bring as many through as we can, and we've seen quite a few of them. Mo Hopkins, Jason Gunning, absolutely brilliant. Mason, they've been very, very helpful. They're really good to us. So I think it's good that we can bring some local lads through, which is essentially going to be the future.
Boxing or football?
Oh, football, just. But boxing, I came very late in life, so it allows me to get a sweat on without pounding the streets and stops me being as fat as I am.
If you could manage any team in the world right now, who would it be and why?
Any team in the world? Be managing England.
England?
Yeah, massively, yeah.
Why?
It's just I'm a patriot.
Do you think you have a team that is ready to step up to the National League South?
Listen, I think if we start in it tomorrow, I don't think we disgrace ourselves. We ain't going to finish top, because invariably budgets do tell, and there's a lot of full-time sides in there. But I think we're evolving one. We're building one for that. Whether that's this year, next year, the year after, we'll see where that journey takes us. But and it is a journey. But we've got some good players. And I think we surprise ourselves a little bit.
How have the players been preparing despite the lockdown for the season?
To be fair, most of them, most lads now do tend to keep themselves fit, whether that's gym work, which obviously they've been shut, but they've been doing stuff on their own. A lot of them have been running, doing the 5k thing, but they do tend to look after themselves better than when I was a player in the closed season, and everybody put a stone on quite easily. But at the moment, they're going to start a program in the next couple of weeks to prepare them for when they come back. So hopefully hit the ground running.
Do you have any idea when the players will be back training here?
It's still second guess. I mean, there was a bit of a press release today that they spoke to Step 5 and 6 clubs, and there's a number of scenarios that could happen. Best second guess, speaking to all the non-league managers, which I do because I'm quite busy and boring, is a late September start, so that would probably mean late July, early August start back for pre-season.
Are there any more signings or outgoings to come?
Listen, I think there'll be a little bit of one or two going in and out. I'm sure there'll be another little gem. I think 3 or 4 years ago Busey just turned up and look where he is now. So we'll hope we get another Matt Buse. But listen, I'm relatively comfortable with things at the moment, but it doesn't. Your recruitment never ever stops. It never stops.
In an ideal team, what is your preferred formation and why?
Well, I always like to play with 3 midfielders, and I always like to play 2 up top. I always like to play with 2 strikers as a bare minimum, 2 central strikers as well. So I think I like my teams to be able to change when needed, because once we get to the other side of the halfway line, it can be very fluid. So I want to get on the front foot. We want to attack. That's quite important to me. But at the same time, I'm not going to hide from it. Last year we conceded too many goals. So attitude to defend is massive, but a 4-1-3-2, 3-5-2, which is nailed on for Taunton these days, is very good. So and even a 3-4-3 at times, which is something else that we want to involve. So I think it's important for players in this day and age that they can be adaptable. Several ways of playing.
And finally, where do you think we will finish this season?
I want to win every single game. That's not going to happen. Listen, it's very difficult to answer that at the moment. I think there's going to be some clubs that are going to have some real change. We're one of the clubs that isn't going to have real change in that respect in terms of off the pitch, because we are so well managed and run. So listen, we'll see what happens. That's been 10 games after the league started.
And that's all the questions.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks for joining us, Rob.
Did I sit on any fences too long? I don't think so.
Possibly, but we'll have to ask him again.
Yeah.
Another time.
I do.
Cheers, Rob.
Cheers, mate.